Welcome to the DC Pit Stop on Always Real Talk Network. I'm Christina.
I'm Maya.
And the DC Pit Stop is a place that anybody stops by when they're in DC, whether it's fresh off a flight, or you're driving through, or you hopped off a megabus and pulled into Union Station.
And we got Broccoli City here in the house with us, one of the hottest music festivals in the DC area right now. We got co-founder Darryl Perkins in the house with us. He just got off of a plane. He's at Always Real Talk, and we're going to get into some really cool stuff with him.
Thank you for coming, Darryl.
So welcome, Darryl.
Yes, Darryl just came straight off the flight, the epitome of a DC pit stop. So thanks for coming by, man. We look forward to just talking about all the great things that Broccoli City has going on outside of the festival and the festival weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So kicking it off.
Yeah, and we're going to get into it. So also, in addition to the festival, we know that you guys have a ton of other endeavors that you guys have been going after.
Mm-hmm.
You've been really successful in. They're not in the ideation phase. They're actually being implemented. So we want to talk about that a little bit with you.
Cool.
First, who's Darryl? Give us
Darryl?
a little bit about you and your background and where you come from.
I'm from Oakland, California originally.
Yeah.
I've been in DC for about a little over 15 years now. I went to Howard, brought me out here, and DC's kept me. I think it's a great city, just full of culture, a lot of history here, and I just love that to see folks of color that would be doing our thing here. And I love the energy that's here in the city, and yeah, I think. Who am I? I mean, I'm always one. I was a cultural anthropologist, actually. That's what I studied at Howard, and I studied hip hop culture all around the world as an African oral tradition and the role that music has played, particularly with folks of African culture, in for thousands of years. That's how we told our history. That's how we made love. That's how we celebrated. That's how we went to war. And I think it still plays some of the same roles in our community, in our society, but I don't think we don't necessarily understand it. So I've always looked at how are we bringing music and kind of all of hip hop culture in general, and how are we shifting culture towards things that are positive, like with Broccoli City, it's how are we building healthy communities, how we build thriving communities that are sustainable, communities that are equitable. And so I think for all the different things that we do is all about how we shift in culture. And I think that all the work that I've always done has been about how are you making it cool to do things that may not necessarily have been cool, in the first place. So
yeah, I mean, I think you guys are doing a tremendous job with the Broccoli City movement in its entirety. Highlighting the healthy lifestyle and making it cool. I know that in the city, everybody talks about it. As soon as, let me see, when do the tickets drop? As soon as those tickets drop, it's like, that's the top. What am I going to wear? Are you going to Broccoli City? I know that because I've been going since
but like
the first one 7 years ago.
And Broccoli City is hot. Like, we know about it. It's kind of ingrained in our culture, but we also want to tell us a little bit more about some of the things that people maybe don't know about Broccoli City, the brand.
For sure. So we actually Broccoli City Festival started as an Earth Day celebration. Mm-hmm. So we weren't seeing a lot of people looking like us that were talking about Earth Day, definitely weren't celebrating Earth Day or talking about the environment. And, it's always been, it's important. I mean, we got to take care of our little blue planet. I mean, we have Earth Day coming up, and it's for us to be thinking about that and making sure that we are in that discussion, because a lot of times our communities are affected by environmental justice issues, and we don't always have information on ways that we can be clean. And so not only environmentally, but just physically. Right. I mean, so we're also being healthy as a people. So it really came, and Broccoli City came out of that thought that we weren't in these conversations, and how can we have fun with it as well as get information to people at the same time. Right. And so I think that's always something that's important, is having a good time and getting a lot of people around it and creating tipping points towards this health and wellness sustainability, but at the same time making it fun. Right. And so I mean, that's where a lot of this came from. When you think about broccoli, it means a lot of things to a lot of different people. I mean, it for different people, sometimes for some people it's money, sometimes you think of broccoli as healthy, it's green. Yeah. Some people it's money, some people it's cannabis. So it's like there's all these different things, and Broccoli City really is kind of, it's like water in that it can mean whatever you want to you, but it's always something that's positive and always something that's bring people together. That's on the up and up.
So when you say we and our, who else is a part of Broccoli City in the conception of it? Did it start when you were in Howard, as you know, you guys talking about it, or was it after the fact?
So two of my partners, Marcus and Brandon, they're from North Carolina, and so Brandon, it was his brainchild, and it was just they saw, they thought it was cool, it sounded good. They were from Greensboro, so it was like broccoli and green and like city for Greensboro, but all these different things kind of melded together. And I was doing Earth Day events all around the country, and this is when I met them. This was 2010, and I had just been doing work with an organization called Hip Hop Caucus, and I architected a campaign called Respect My Vote, and I was on tour with T.I. and Jay-Z and a bunch of artists registering people to vote. And then post the election, we started doing work around fighting poverty and pollution.
Okay, cool.
And so that's how I met Brandon and Marcus. I was doing all these Earth Day events across the country, and they were our flagship Los Angeles event. And at the time, Dom Kennedy was a headliner, and Kendrick Lamar was on early in the day. So it's kind of come, nobody knew who Kendrick was in 2010. So, and that was called the Global Cooling. So it was like a block party. And so we just maintained a relationship after that. I moved to Brazil, and I was living in Brazil for a while, and I came back. I was actually going to go back and live in Brazil, but we started the festival. And, I ended up staying here in D.C., and we created the festival in 2000. The first one was in 2013, and then it's just kind of, it's grown from there.
Well, we're glad you didn't leave.
Yeah, but I'm happy to be here.
And we got a lot of background on it. We got a lot of